Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of the Facebook Live videos. And as any time that I do this, I keep changing, and I shouldn't say changing technology, but adding new technology. I'm to the point now where I'm getting an entire studio put together, and with the goal being to be able to present from Pip's basement on a regular basis, since it's hard to get back into hotel rooms and things like that, which I've done for the longest time. So if you guys can do me a favor, and if you could make a comment in the chat box. Last time I was doing this, last time that I did the Facebook Live video, my chat box wasn't working. So if for some reason you're chatting in the chat box and I'm not responding, I apologize because I technically am unable to see any of the chats going in. So if there is somebody out there, and I know there's people out there because I can see you on there, and if you could just go in the chat box and say something, that would be great. If not, I'm going to assume that the chat box is not working again. If you guys could do me a favor, if you give me maybe 30 seconds, not even that, I'm going to go and pull up another one of my computer screens here and see if I can maybe, and I don't know if volume's going to be an issue, so if we have a little technical difficulties, you ask me. No, ask if I can, and I'm going to see if I can get the chat to work in this other box here where I'm looking at. So I'm going to see if I can get it to work. I'm not sure if it's going to work for me. Peter says hi, so I know Peter's on here. I got Peter on there. Anybody else, if you could write in there, make sure you can hear me. Peter, can you hear me okay? I want to make sure we're on the same page with that. So Peter, if you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate you putting a thumbs up for me, or anybody else, just to make sure that the audio and everything is working. Because as I said, I keep using new and different technology, and I'm trying my best to make sure that it works. So at this point, Peter, Haley, awesome. That's all I need to know. So I'm good to go. Anybody else want to throw anything in there? I love the interaction. If you have any questions, I appreciate that as well. So, and what's funny is you can just hear my energy go up now that I know that there's people that are actually going to be responding to me. So the couple of things from a housekeeping standpoint. One more thing that I want to ask. If you look at the post that I put up there, there's a link to click on there. If you click on that, what that's going to allow me to do on the 23rd, 24th, 25th of October, the 23rd, 24th, 25th in October, I'm going to be doing a 3-day sales training. It's going to be a lot of different information, 3 solid days of sales stuff. So if you want to get information on that, if you can click onto the link, and it basically goes to a messenger thing, and the people that are helping me with this told me it goes to some chat box or some type of bots at Facebook that allows you to basically enter information and be able to reply with some questions. What that does is it helps me get some what's the word I'm looking for, some information so that I can send you stuff on. This is live number 9. Well, Peter, I can't count past 5, so I appreciate that. So I'm glad it's number 9. Whatever number is, I appreciate that. But so if you could click on there and I can get some information and send it out to you on the 23rd, 24th, 25th of October, we're going to be doing a 3-day training on that. It's all going to be on sales, all kinds of different topics. It will be my first time where I have gotten away from just the real estate topic. For the longest time, I have spoke all around the world on real estate. But when I speak about real estate, it's a 3-day presentation. So in that presentation, we are selling things. We're selling training, but I'm also motivating. I'm also educating. And so whenever we do any type of training of any kind, what we're always doing is selling. Anytime we're saying hello, we're talking to people, we're selling. So I never think that that's an issue that we're going to just specifically talk about sales for 3 days. October 23rd, 24th, 25th. I'm going to keep doing these as well, even after that. I keep getting told that I should just be curating content and putting content out there. Well, if there's one thing I can do is I can keep talking. If there's somebody listening, even better. So I'm going to keep creating content. Thanks, James. Do I ever motivate? I appreciate that. Well, somebody lit a fire under me back in 1980 by the name of Lou Holtz, and it totally changed my life. I was 12 years old. I know I've told the story before. My brother's on here. He asked me to recite a Lou Holtz poem. And what's really interesting is I'm just getting my desk put together down here. And this is something, this was actually read at my dad's funeral. The poem that I read the other day, and I'm not sure where my camera is or if you can even see it, but this right here was read at my dad's funeral. It's a guy, the author's unknown. I heard it for the very first time by a guy by the name of Lou Holtz. You guys are starting to see, you can see reflections of other monitors in the frame, but that's okay. But I've got this on my desk because, quite frankly, I basically recite it to myself every day. And it's a great poem. That's the one I recited a few weeks ago or a couple times ago on the Facebook Lives. But that was literally the guy that changed my life when it came to motivation, James. He literally changed everything that I thought about. And that was how to actually look at life. And it wasn't about me in any way. It was about building other people up. And I think there are a lot of people in this world, and I'm never going to knock anybody else, but you hear people where the only way they get above other people is to knock other people down. They push people down to get themselves up. And to me, that's the worst thing that you can do. So that really is going to segue into the topic that we're going to talk about today is no, always a no. And my opinion is you want customers for life. Not for this week, not for next month, but for life. Peter, I'm going to use him as an example. And Peter, I can't remember when I met you. I'm going to say 2014, 2015. And the nice part about Peter is that over the last, I'm going to say 2 or 3 months, we've reconnected. And Peter sends me an email this morning, and it's kind of funny. And we're talking about some property stuff that he's doing, and he wants to take it to another level. And so we're going to hop on another call here later this week. And so I don't consider Peter a customer that I met in 2014 or 2015, whenever it was. I consider Peter to be a customer for life. He can always contact me. James, you know that as well as anybody. You contact me. I met you 2 or 3 years, or we'll say a little over 2 years ago. Boy, it's 2.5 years ago now. Boy, James, it goes like that. It was, I think, June of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And so when I met you, and I don't know if it's actually James on there, if it's his wife, because I get different emails from you guys, but it doesn't matter who's on there. But anyway, the point being is everybody you meet is a potential customer for life. So it's no, always no. I don't think so. I know people don't like to hear no, especially if they're graded on their sales volume, if they get paid on sales volume. And I get all that. And if you're in sales, you always want to get paid because that's how you make your money, is through commissions and things like that. So I truly don't believe that a no is always a no. It may be a not right now, but I don't think it has to be a no. Oh, awesome. I saw Suzanne on Saturday night. I got to do a training with a bunch of, not a training, I spoke for about, I don't know, probably a half hour to another group of people. And you guys have probably heard me hear the name Tim Sy. Tim Sy is a student of mine, but also now a great friend of mine. And he has his own training company in Canada, and I got the opportunity to speak to his group of students. And Suzanne, I had met 10 years ago in Kingston, Ontario, so that's pretty cool. And so, lovely. Oh, thank you very much, Wendy. And Wendy, as a new person, I just met in the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks. And so great to talk to you as well. Where's my Kool-Aid shirt, Dan? I didn't even think about the non-Burbank, and I was wearing red last week. And I know if you're talking about sales, red isn't always a great color. We'll get into NLP on another training. But for right now, I want to talk about is no always a no. And I totally don't think it ever is. As long as you're providing value, does that mean somebody has to buy from you today? Of course, if we can keep people in the funnel, if that's what you want to call it, if we can keep them purchasing our products, that helps everybody. Because the one thing I think we need to do as sales people, Tim is the best. See, everybody loves Tim. Tim is awesome. And I met Tim 10 years ago as well. And so, Suzanne, when I saw you on there, I was so cool that I hadn't seen you in a long time. So that was awesome to finally see you again. So that's perfect. So this has been cool for me. The Facebook Lives have been able to help me regenerate some friendships and stuff with people that I haven't seen in a while. And so, and I apologize if I'm getting a little bit freaked out here. I got other monitors going with a different feed, and it's way behind me. So I'm looking at me in the past or the future. I'm not sure which it is. There's a great line from a comedian, and I can't remember the comedian's name. He was really deadpan, and I'll think of his name, Mitch Hedberg. Really weird comedy. But Mitch Hedberg would always say when people would hold up a picture, here's a picture of me when I was younger. He goes, aren't all pictures of you when you were younger? Think about that for just a moment. That is funny. Every picture is from you in the past because obviously it could only be 30 seconds ago, but it's still from when you were younger. So I know I'm getting off. I'm getting off on different topics here, but that's what I do. But red is a tough color when it comes to sales because what do we think of when we think of red? We think of stop signs and stop lights. And so we're going to get more into the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I can't spell it. I know I can say it. We'll do that on different trainings in the future. That'll be another one that we do. But right now is the customer is a no always a no with the customer. I don't think it's ever a no. If we can keep the lead warm, if we can keep the relationship warm. Now, obviously, there are different things when you're working with different companies. But if I go to the Ford dealership, we have a Ford dealership 2 miles up the road from me here. If I go to the Ford dealership and I don't buy something, but I go across the street and buy a Buick, does that mean I'm never going to buy another Ford? Now, for some of you, it might. But if the salesperson in that Ford dealership treats me with respect, gives me content, gives me information to help me make the best informed decision, just because I say I don't want to buy that car now, does that not mean I might not want to buy it later or a different type of car? Or maybe that person just sends me a note, an email, maybe sends me a text. Because he's got my contact information. That's not a problem. He could send me some information and say, hey, Pip, I know we didn't get that car, that you didn't buy that car, 6 months ago, a year ago, but hey, we've got a new model of this car in. Be interested in talking to you about it. That continues to keep the door open. So I don't think we ever want to close the door because what I truly believe, and we talked about this in one of the last videos, is that support will always trump over everything else. So I'm going to go back to Peter, or I could use James on here or whatever, it doesn't matter. If I've got a student who I've been talking to for a while and I've supported them, answered their questions, if I have another product or another service that I may want to sell them, they may very well want to buy it. They may not too, but at the end of the day, I'm taking care of that customer. So they may have told me no in the past, but now they're ready to buy whatever product or service you're selling. So I think it's very important, and I could get into spiritual stuff, probably shouldn't do it. Definitely not going to get into politics, but I'm sure some of you guys are going to be glued to your TV tonight. The point being is, I don't think a no is always a no. I think it's all about building the relationship. I think it's all about making sure that you're taking care of those customers. No matter what they buy, no matter how much they buy, treat every customer like they're your best customer. And you will never want for more business. And that's why I don't think a no is always a no. I think it's imperative that we constantly are taking care of those people. So the question comes down to, are you taking care of them? So we're really back to the time before when we were talking about support. And so I think it's imperative as we're looking at all this stuff. No doesn't necessarily mean no. It may mean not right now. I'm going to give you an example. I was on the phone with a potential student. It's from Ontario, from Toronto area. I know a lot of Toronto people. And so I was talking to him. He had been recommended to me by another person in Canada. And so I, just like anybody, you know people and you get recommended and you take care of people, you treat people right. So my friend Ray in Canada, he does real estate training, does a lot of different stuff. I know some of the people may know him on this call as well. And he says to this gentleman, he says, if you want to learn how to do U.S. real estate, he said, I'm a Canadian. I know you want to do U.S. stuff. I want you to call Pip because he's the guy you should be talking to. He's the guy you should be talking to. So I'd already made a connection with somebody that I'd worked with for a long time in Canada. He knew that U.S. real estate wasn't his, wheelhouse or whatever, wasn't his best expertise. But he goes, I know this guy, Pip, and you ought to give him a call. Now, this guy calls me out of the blue and said, hey, Al, you were recommended by Ray. And he thinks you're the best person to do this training for me. Can you tell me what you do, what you offer, your process, your product, all that kind of stuff? So I went through all of that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I usually have 3 days to sell a real estate training program. Usually 3 days. So when I'm called on the phone and asked to sell something in 15 minutes, I can't even say hello in 15 minutes. You guys have already figured that out. And so I've now got to condense 3 days worth of stuff into 15 minutes. Now, obviously the call didn't last 15 minutes, it lasts 45 because we answer questions. So what does the typical person, when they have to make a large purchasing decision, say? I got to think about it. So is he telling me no? I don't think so. He's telling me he's got to think about it. I respect the way he said it. If he would have said, Pip, no, I'm not interested, it was impossible to shake my hand because he was on the phone, I was on the phone. That didn't work out right. But you know what I'm saying. If somebody says no, is it okay then if I keep you on file and I may send you an email in the next 6 months or so? I don't think I've ever had anybody say no, no, no. Because what they generally want is they want more. They need more information. They need more time. I get all that. So the point being is this guy did not say no. He said, I don't think I can do it right now. Now, obviously, he had multiple excuses. I'm selling him a very expensive real estate training program. 20,000 US dollars. We're not talking something cheap here. 10,000 on the low end, 20,000 on the high end. So we're talking a very significant purchase. We're not buying a $10 item at the grocery store. So, first phone call with him, what's he have to do? He goes, I got to think about it, got to talk to my significant other. Well, I can totally appreciate that. Because when I made a decision like that 18 years ago, I had to come home and talk to my wife because she's the boss, and I'm completely fine with that. I get it. I said, let's just make sure we talk again in the next few days. We scheduled another time to talk. When I sat down and talked to him at this point, he had tons of excuses. Now, I could have been a jerk about it because I know there are a lot of people that want to twist arms. I know there are a lot of people that want to really grind somebody when they just need time to think. And that's what we talk about, the difference in sales, okay? See, I think what I find a lot of times is the reason people twist your arm so hard when they want to sell you something is they need the money now. They don't need it next week or next month, next year. They need it now. And you can hear that. You can see that, the desperation in salespeople. And you don't ever want to get there. You don't want to get there. Because as soon as you become desperate, the customer can sense that. It's like a dog chasing something. The thing that's running away from it, it's more of a game to the dog than it is anything else. And the dog's just chasing it because it's a game. Maybe not because it wants to eat it, but just because it's a game to them. They're running away, so they're going to run after it. It's an animal mentality. So if you start to be desperate on your sales process, that no is going to turn into a firm no. What his no was not a right now. And he gave me all kinds of different reasons. He had to go do this. He had to do that. It wasn't the right time. And how am I? I can sit there and kill those objections all day long with logic. But all I'm doing at that point is I am just twisting his arm. And that's not the style that I ever want to portray. So I just basically said to him, I said, okay, I hear the answer no more than I hear the answer yes. So I basically told him that's what I always hear. Why did I do that? Because what do people want to do? They want to be better than the average. They want to be not like everybody else. If everybody else is here, people want to be here. Nobody wants to be here. Most people aren't excited, satisfied here. They want to be here. That's why you're constantly striving to do more in this world, whatever it is. You don't want somebody to come up to you and say, man, you're a very average student. You're a very average parent. You're a very average athlete. No, you want to be the best, and I get that, and that's why we all should strive to be the best in whatever we do. I mean, think about it. If my wife came up to me and said, well, you're kind of an average husband, that's not a good compliment. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better person every day. So that's why we're always striving to do these things. And so go back to my customer. I'm not going to give out names because that's irrelevant, but he said, not right now. I've got this going on. I got this big dental procedure. I got this, I got that. And that's completely fine. And I never once twisted his arm. But I did say that's the answer I hear all the time. Why did I say that? Because most of the time people don't want to be with everybody else. They want to be above them. So what I did is I very nicely lumped him in with everybody else. I don't think he even understood what I was doing, but that's what I did. I said, that's okay. This is the answer I hear most of the time. I think he thought I was going to be surprised by his answer. No, I wasn't surprised because I hear no way more often than I hear yes. And if you're ever in sales, if you're ever in a relationship, if you're a kid, and we were all kids at one point, what's the first word you heard when you were a kid? No. And if you don't remember that more than a half hour, it's always, I can't speak for less than 10 minutes, Brooke. I know I can't do it. And so I think we have to understand no is not a bad word. What I want to get out of that is, can I still contact you? I don't want it to be a hard no, never talk to me again. Because if I am rude, if I am pushy, then what am I going to do? I'm going to push him away. So I've always got to be open arms. And so when I'm open arms, people are going to want to come back to me. If you're smiling, we talked about nonverbal the other day. You got to smile. You can hear somebody smile in their voice on the phone. So even if you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can hear them smiling when they're talking. Guaranteed, without a doubt. And so I did not get him to say yes on the phone last week when I talked to him. But what I did is he said this. He said, I know you guys are going to be around 6 months from now. I'm going to call you in 6 months. So who do you think is going to call in 6 months? You think I'm going to wait for him to call? The answer is yes. But if he doesn't call in 6 months, and I've got it on my phone as a reminder. Y'all do your own reminders. But I got a reminder for 3/20/3/21. So I talked to him, last week, I think a week ago today maybe, week ago tomorrow, whatever it is. And I put for 3/20/3/21 that I'm going to call this guy if he hasn't called me before then. Why? Because he gave me permission. He said, I'm going to talk to you in 6 months when things are in a better situation. I think you're going to hear a lot of that in the next 30, 60, 90 days. I think it works, doesn't it? And so I don't know if it's Sarah or James, but I know it's one of you guys. Is it Sarah or James? You got to tell me because now my curiosity is going to kill me. And so anyway, I don't know how you guys do your emails, but you're always confusing me. It always says Sarah, but it's James usually talking. Now it says James. I'm wondering if it's Sarah. So I don't know who it is on that email, right? Or on that message. So the point I want to make is don't make a no be a hard no. How do I do that? I make sure I keep the door open. And here's the points you want to make. And I've already used this story in the past. I'll use it multiple times. But you always want to make sure that your customers are your best salespeople for you. I'm going to use Kevin, who just made a comment on there. Met Kevin and Anne Marie a long time ago. And they went through some training with me. I did some one-on-one mentoring with them. And can you believe when I wanted to sell more students, more potential customers, what I wanted to do, I brought Kevin and Anne Marie back into my class and said, hey, can you tell them about your experience? It's called testimonials. And when somebody could give you a testimonial, it's not like a job referral. It's a testimonial. Say, hey, I did this with this guy. He followed through. I got a great testimonial from, who gave me the testimonial? I'll bet, Brooke, you know who I'm talking about. It is, I've got to look this up. Brandy, and I think her last name is Hussey from Toronto, and some of you guys may know her. She gave me the coolest testimonial, and she even had an acronym for the word PIP. So I wish I could remember it, but I can't. I think he said, what did she say? I could look it up. I should look it up while I'm talking to you right now. She was, inspired was the I, and I don't remember. I'm going to look it up because I can't not think about it. So this is real Facebook Live in practice. I'm going on my own personal email to look stuff up. Brandy Mullen. Mullen is her last name. I said a different last name. And in her testimonial, she basically, and now it's at the end of the testimonial. That's not going to be good. So I guess I'll have to talk for more than a minute. So I know that won't be hard either. But at the end of her testimonial, she basically gives the acronym, the word PIP, and it's really cool. And I wanted to share it because it was something from one of my students. So, Brooke, you know, Anne Marie's on here too. Brandy Mullen. That's exactly right, Wendy. So there you go. And what did she say? So I pitched her. So I sold her something. That's what the first P was. I inspired her, and then what's the last word there? I promised. So what I did is I pitched her a product. I inspired her to take action, but then I underpromised and over-delivered. And that's what this is all about. Could it have been a solid hard no? Maybe. But what you always want to do is, and you know Brandy, well, it's a pretty small world out there, especially for all my Canadians. And I got lots of Canadians on the call today, so this is awesome. And so the point being is, don't make it be a hard no. Always make it be a soft no. Can I call you back? And how do you do that? You provide value. You have people that will speak for you. I guarantee, Brooke has done a testimonial for me. And in her testimonial, I don't remember exactly what you said, Brooke, but you said something. You made me feel old, by the way. You said when you grow up, you want to be like Pip. And that made me feel old, but actually I kind of liked it. It was awesome. Peter, I can't make you feel old because you're older than me, I think. So it's all good. And so the point being is, you got to make sure you always are taking care of customers, because they'll be the next person to help you sell the one after that. And that, to me, is what is so valuable with sales, is you get satisfied customers. You've been pipped, pitched, inspired, and promised, delivered on. See, there you go. I thought it was cool. I've had multiple people use my name as an acronym for 3 words. Now, most of the time it's not nice things, but all the people that have given me testimonials have definitely done some nice things, so I appreciate that. And so anyway, that is what I want to talk about today with is no, always a no. And it's really cool to see some of you guys that I got to speak to on Saturday night. So Wendy and Brooke, Saturday night, did that go? Everybody have a good time that night? I mean, I heard some of you guys after the fact, but I really like the feedback. And I'm hoping that you guys had a good time, because Pip is a verb. Pip is not a verb. Isn't it a noun? Picture in picture. And if it also has something to do with Forex investing. I don't know what that means, but I know it's, to be pipped is a verb. That sounds bad, Kevin, by the way. I don't even want to put that out there, but I see where you're going with that. That made me laugh, by the way. And so it's really cool. Okay, thank you, Wendy. I didn't know. I never know what the feedback's going to be. And it was more of a motivational, just 30 or 40-minute talk. And so I appreciate the feedback on that, because I haven't talked to Tim since then. I know you guys were busy with classes and stuff, and I know he had a crazy busy weekend, so I didn't want to bother anybody. But I just love the fact we had it. That's what I want to know. Good word or good time. And then action word, you've been pipped. Kevin, be careful. I don't even want to know what we're doing here. But I got to be careful, because I'm going to go off in a different direction I shouldn't be going in. So with that being said, I'm going to say it one more time. One more time. Biggest form of advertising is word of mouth. Love it. Yeah, people will talk about you. I met Haley. I'm going to use Haley as an example. I've never been in the same room with Haley. I mean, never. She had done stuff. She lives in the UK, and I'd never met her before. Now, what had I always heard? I've always heard good things about Haley. Hey, you got to talk to Haley. Haley and you are a lot alike. That's what I heard multiple times. I'm going to say I heard that at least 25 or 30 times. So Haley sold me before I ever even met her. And apparently there was a two-way connection, because Haley reached out to me and said, hey, I'd like to work with you on some stuff. And so it was going in both directions. But that's what it comes down to, is that word of mouth. And I think it's so cool when you can do that. And I think all of you guys should strive to do that in your relationships in business. I know, Peter, you're going to be working on some different things, but we're going to talk about the stuff that you've already done, using that as a foundation for bigger and better stuff. So we could always do that, but I think it's imperative that you're always building on that last customer. That's why no is never, in my opinion, very seldom a no forever. I mean, there are people, don't ever talk to me again. I've not had that happen, but that doesn't mean there aren't people out there. Generally, the people that I've talked to when it comes to sales, they've come to me wanting to buy something that I was representing. So it's not like, don't ever talk to me again. If I just do my job and I give them service, I give them value, I do what I promised I'm going to do. They don't usually say, I never want you to talk to me again. I've never heard that. Now, if you're doing cold call selling of some sort, or if you're in a mall or whatever and you're trying to pitch a product, you may get people that don't want to talk to you. I get that. But that's a little different than what we're talking about here. So one last thing. We're already at 30 minutes. Man, this 30 minutes goes so quick on these Facebook Lives. And so one last thing, I want to just encourage you guys, and I don't know all the technical words, so I apologize. But when you saw the post that this was going live, right underneath there, there's something to click. And it apparently goes to my Facebook page so that I can start, and what was it called? A consumer research program of some sort. So I can kind of see, I'm going to be doing a training on the 23rd, 24th, 25th. Now, here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be yet. I've got some ideas, got some thoughts, but I would like you guys to tell me what are some things you think need to be said, some things that need to be taught on. Because as you've noticed, I thrive on the feedback. If I don't get feedback, it's a lot harder for me to do this. So if you could, or message me in the messenger, whatever, let me know what are some topics that we really need to discuss. I would be very... Hadley's all the way from New Zealand, so I totally amazed that you guys even get up to do this. I mean, I know you're getting up for other reasons, but if this is something you click on, then that makes my day. And so the point being is, if we can just click on there and tell me what are some things we're looking at, that you're looking at, that whether you need help with it, if you know you have customers that need help with it, if you've got people on your team that need that. I know there's a lot of people out there in this last 6 months that are creating their own coaching programs. I mean, you see them all over Facebook and other forms of media. And I get it, because they've been laid off from their own jobs. They've got some skill sets. There's a lot of things that they can do, and they get the word out there in those funnels and all the funnel clicks and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing we all need, and I don't care what your business is, and I know many of you are predominantly real estate, is sales. And these sales skills will overlap anything that you're doing, even your own personal relationships with your family, your kids, your wife, your spouse, anybody like that. So that's what I want to say. Make sure you click on there. Let me know some of the things you're looking to do or you're looking to hear. 23rd, 24th, 25th, there'll be more information coming to you. If I don't have your email, please do me a favor. Put it in that chat so I can get your email, so I can send you stuff. I know I have a lot of people's emails, but I don't think I got Suzanne's email. If I do, I'd have to really have a problem looking it up. And so please get in contact with me. I want to make sure you guys all have the opportunity to see what we got going on the 23rd, 24th, 25th. So with that being said, I'm going to end this like I do all the other ones. I truly believe that we're all going to be all right as long as we keep telling each other and we keep supporting each other and we keep under-promising and over-delivering. So please make sure you find somebody in your life, whether you know them, you don't know them, could be your spouse, could be your mom, your dad, your kid. Turn to them today and say, you're going to be all right. So till the next time, hopefully tomorrow, let's go Thursday. I think I didn't do Monday for whatever reason. I had some issues yesterday. But we'll go Thursday with another Facebook Live. So sometime, probably similar time, maybe I'm going to say 1 o'clock Central Time on Thursday. So please do me a favor. Turn to somebody. Tell them you're going to be all right. You guys have a great day. We will see you on Thursday. Let's say 1 o'clock Central. Have a good one. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.